What we did last class, can you say me?
Last class we created components,
Mm-hmm.
different components, header, footer, uh,
Menu.
and menu, and we also we created components using that command, and also we created a component using directly components like we
Using
created components manually also.
okay, and we also created adding bootstrap dependency.
Yeah, bootstrap dependency for that menu. Uh,
Not only
I
menu,
think for the menu
actually
item.
for UI setup.
Okay.
It is not only for menu because when we are using bootstrap, uh, so
We
bootstrap
can
actually
use many of the
mm,
components.
bootstrap bootstrap actually help us to create UI actually.
Okay.
Okay, so our 9 class will be continue today. So just I copy the class 9 and also I paste it and rename with it 10. Okay, and once it is created, first we need to add dependencies first. So dependency add processes npm install. It is for Windows command, but if you are working with Mac or Linux operating system, so that time you have to record sudo before it,
Okay.
and after that we can use these commands, and then we can see the output about the node models. Okay,
Not
so
modules.
this node models is required to start our environment, because this time we want to start our environment. So if we want, so we must record first dependencies. Without dependencies we cannot see our uh, development environment is live. Okay, so this is the actually first thing which is required, and after that we need to see what things we actually created. Okay, we already created another components, like another components as pages, and we also set it as routes, right?
Yeah.
And you already, I think, practiced it, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so today uh, we will go for the documentation section. Actually here I have so many parts, and what kind of things actually I covered, just I go through on it. Okay, okay, so many things we actually covered as, as I as it possible. Okay, so now we last time we talk about styling, and we also talk about something, uh, this styling process we already I think we talk about this process, how can we uh, doing style, and how can create an encapsulation part. Do you have, do you practice it? Hello.
Mm, no, styling I forgot.
Actually I think I worked on styling part also, because if we want to change our style, our header style like this, so
Oh,
that time,
understood.
that time we can, and we have actually blue color in the component color. Okay, actually when we created this component before as card, and there we can use card color like okay, we actually did not use any. Okay, here we are actually create a color for h1 tag blue. Okay, so here we create, here I was created three components, three counter components, but specifically I want to change this particular color through our child component, or through our parent component, whatever you say, because this is the child component actually. This is the, and this is maybe child component, or maybe it is third party component, whatever you think, because sometimes we can get third party components also using in our project. So if we want using any third party component and want to changes colors on that components, so that time we need to be use this kind of syntax, and then we can need to identify that particular element. So this is the identification of that particular elements. This is the identification of that particular element, and then we can use that element and things to change that color. Okay.
Okay.
And otherwise, if we are using only h1 changes, h1 color, so this is the component color, and this color is changed normally. But when you want to change the counter object color as red, that time only we need to be use the selector first, and then we change the inner element color. So this is the way to manipulating the components with this process. So this is the styling process, and this is the styling things where we can change the component part internally. Okay. And this time I also talk about content projection. I think I already talk about content projections, because when I create the this particular card component, and maybe this content projections we also uses it before, because this is the ng content. Ng content actually can create a inner child component where when we want to use it as a child component. So basically, if I want to use it some content in the child, so that time we can use that syntax using this particular things.
Okay.
I think you did not go through all the
No,
things.
this one I did not go through. No. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, so many things I already discussed last classes.
Okay.
Sometimes I go forward very fast mode, because you are not giving me so much time for this,
Okay.
but I wanted to try complete almost uh, concepts which is are basically required so many times.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so today I discuss about some templating sections, and this is that almost things are same, concept are here. Templating means this is the template part, and template part is the visual part of our component, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
when we are using the component part as template, but template part is the important, but when we want to communicate our variables with the template section, so that time we require this curly braces to interpolate our data or communicate our variables with the HTML through this way. So this is called, this curly brace called interpolation sign. Okay. And through this part we can communicate our data here to here directly.
Okay.
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 So this is the actually process, and if we use any color like this, here I have two type of data are here, and we are see the interpolation data two different way. one is the curly brace using and directly using the variable name which is here, and another is the variable name are using, but it is a also variable, but this variable are actually object of signal, and signal is a new additions basically, and it's actually managed the application state. Okay, so what is application state I will be talking later, but this time if we have any data communications for multiple components, so that time we are most of the times we can use signals for that. But what kind of data, how it possible, where, so it is the actually understandable things. And when we using the API, when we want to integrate the data from the API, so that time it is required.
Okay.
Okay, so if we want to produce the data for the parent, so that time we need to be add event listener. Did we create a event listener before?
I think a button we click this, right? Button click event
Yes,
listener.
button click we already created, but basically child component to parent component. Basically here we always use the component as input, input signal or input decorator functions we are using before. It is the input decorator. Yes, here I used before with the output. Okay, and this output value change and val change, and it is the output options. And when we want to get output child to parent, so that time we must use event to emit data for the child to parent, because when our event performs, then we can get the data from the parent section.
Okay.
So this is the data output process data, and when we access, when we want to accessing the data, so that time we need to be use the event, and this dollar event is the global variable, and after that we can access the data which are actually passing through value. So this is the value, actual value, and this value actually emitted through emitter object, through event emitter object, and that emitter object are using maybe here, and after that we can get the value through the event variable, and this event variable is actually angular variable, and we did not use another name except this. And when we are using that value, and that value can be accessed directly like this. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the actually value, and this time we are using it any. Why? Because we don't know what kind of data may be come through that event. So basically this time uh, when we are using this counter, and here we can generate the value as number, but when it is put value as number also, but problem is maybe it can send the value or maybe not. So for that particular purpose we cannot assign directly value here. It is actually a normal process when we are working with the object oriented programming with Java or C. Basically that is the typecast bounding, right?
Okay.
Basically when we are using this kind of things, so we don't know what kind of data exactly comes coming here. So for, if we don't know any data types properly, that time we can use it as any.
Okay.
Okay, Okay, so here have so many processes. We can bind our event with the key event, mouse event, so many type of events controller here. Just read this documentations. It will be helpful for you. Okay,
Okay.
and after that, Angular is popular for two-way data binding. This is most important things, because if we are typing something in our uh, application, so this two-way binding is very useful to create data communications directly, model to view, view to model. So for this particular process, actually Angular comes to scene. Basically this is the main features when Angular comes in development, because this particular process to create with the normal JavaScript, it's too much highly coded task, but that task it's going so much easy with this particular syntax, how it work. So now I open the about uh, page this time, and after that I just use the h1 tag here, and this is the about page. Just I write here about page, about page. But here I want to put some name, hello. Just I want to put some name, but what kind of name we want to put here? Here I using another field name is the input. Okay, so this input field, when I want to use, so basically this input field can get the data from the HTML section. Basically basically it is the user interface for the front end. When we want to see any output for the sorry, if we want to get any user inputs from the users, so that time we need to use the input element for the HTML, from the HTML part. Okay, and after that class we can use form control. Form control, actually this form control comes from bootstrap actually. Okay, so now here I just connect with the name. So this is the name part, but when I using this name, it's okay. There have no problem. But problem is, if I using ng model, so how can get this ng model? Because for this particular purpose, I get some issues here.
Okay.
Okay, so how can get this problem, and how to solve? Sorry, why we can get this problem? We know, but how can solve it? How can solve this problem? If we want to solve this problem, so basically this particular uh, class, basically it is maybe class or function, so whatever, but this particular things have to this particular module, and this is what is these things and how it modules work. Actually this time it's not based on module structure, but module actually thing where we can set up so many things under this module. Basically every modules have one main class which is called module class, and under that module class we can create multiple controller, uh, service class, pipes, whatever we can put under that module class, and everything is linked with that module class. So basically if we want to use anything from there, so we must add that particular part first in our module, then we can be use. Okay, so basically if we using any input type actions are required, input or output, whatever we need. So first we require this particular module, need to import first. So here we need to import forms module for from activity or from development. So this form modules is required, and once I using it, then our problem is solved, and now we can see the output of our section. And now we can see John and Doe, and now I remove here. So after that we can see in the change of my name on real time basis, right?
Okay.
So this is called two-way data communication. Basically here is the input, so this is the view, and it is also view, but this view connecting with the model means data. So data input comes from here and here from here. So this is the two-way communication, and this two-way communication is called as MVVM, and this is the based on every JavaScript framework structured on this particular process, uh,
Okay.
for this process. But every framework are using their code style different, but most of the times if we are get the data in the Angular through this way, and this is the very popular way to using data communication bridge for the components in the Angular.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the two-way data binding, and another way, if we want to create any other data, it was the predefined. It is the predefined, okay, which is already inbuilt in the forms module. But after that, this data binding are created by the custom components. Okay, this is actually created by the custom components. Here we can see app counter, and this app counter is the own component or custom component. Okay, and when we using this custom component, basically thing is this particular variable can get and set value both way. Can you
Okay.
understand my point?
Sorry, can you please repeat, sir?
This particular syntax meaning is this particular part can value get or set both way. Basically meaning is it is used as input data, it is also used as a output data
Okay.
object. Basically when I use this ng model, so what this meaning, basically if we if we put the value, basically this first name or this is here is the name. Okay, so what it work, how it work, basically this particular variable, this is the particular, this is the variable name, right? It is variable name.
Yes. Yes.
If this variable name is connected here, basically by default what we seen here, if I refresh this page, so we are seeing the data from the variable, right?
Okay.
From the
Yes.
name variable. But if I change here, if I change anything here, so it change automatically and on real time, right?
Okay.
So
Yes.
basically thing is when I input here something, so that inputs get the input data from the HTML part to here, and after
Okay.
that this same value are put value here, right? It is the same
Yes.
way, same level activity. But
Yeah.
if we want, basically this particular name variable worked as a input and output both.
Okay.
This
Yes.
variable is as a input and output both, and this
Okay.
activity actions are using for this particular syntax.
Okay.
This particular syntax used for data binding, basically this particular data using for input purpose, and this particular syntax using for output purpose.
Okay.
If you have any confusion, then I can we can see before last class. This is the data binding, and this data binding part is this value is connected with the variable, right?
Yes.
And this particular value connected with the events.
Yes.
So that means if we collapse it in single tag, that means it is worked as a input and output both way.
Okay.
Could you understand the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the things which actually created by the Angular for
Okay.
ng module. But ng model, if we have, but if we want to create our custom types like that, so this is the our own component, and these components have same activity created with both way. Basically thing is, if we put that value, so that value are initialize the counter value initially, and same things are get that value without any other functionalities, directly get the value for output also. Could you understand?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So how it possible? Possibility comes from here. Basically, if we want to set that value with the two-way communications process, so here we have angular part have signal. We already talk about signal. So here created a model called model. Model is a signal, and this signal are uses for both way communications. Basically, when data are put here for the decrement, and then data is updated here, and after the updatations we can get that value uh, for output purpose. So this model actually work for both way, input or output both way. And here is the some state management process, basically count dot update. This update actually comes from this particular model. Basically it is actually signal object, and when we create any signal object, and after that signal object have some state data, it is actually some state data, and in that state data have some activity or functionalities are created here by the updatations process, or whatever we want. Basically I think you could not understand the syntax really, but it is the things where we can get updated our data directly, input and output both way.
Okay.
Basically problem is this time we are not using uh, we don't know about the signals. Basically if you don't understand about the signals, so for the syntax wise this is the way we need to be used, but it is the part of signals. Okay,
Okay.
basically what is this thing? Basically we had before a counter like this, and when we are using that counter, okay, so this particular things I can create with same way, by same way. How can do that? How can I do this? Let's check. This val and val change, everything is same name. Okay,
Okay.
val and val change is almost same change, same name. So when I
Okay.
use val or val change, so this same things we can create it with the uh, here I just want to use h2 tag counter value, and this counter value is a like actually I'm using this counter value this way, and now I am using app counter, and this time I want to use it as two-way communications process. So first val, okay, and then we can connect it with the val like this. These things maybe can working to change the value both way. Maybe it possible. So here is the value, and now you can see our value is also changed. Could you understand why and how I can create this same things with the this particular way? How can do that? Basically this time I am not using any extra input change options. I am not using any input change options here. I just simply using this value to increment or decrement, and that value is it is the parent section, and when I updated the value we can observe that value in a single object. Hello,
Yeah, yes, sir.
would you understand how can we do it?
It's we change at one place and we bind it to the other one. Is it? That's what I think I understood.
Actually I am not changing anything in component section.
Okay.
Did I change anything in component section?
No.
But how it possible in our uh, output? Basically this val is the important part. This val and val change I already written before. Val for the
Okay.
input purpose
Yes.
and val changes for change value purpose,
Yes.
right? So val and val change, when we are actually using value changes options, so basically when value is changing, so that time we are change the we check that change by this function. We are actually observe that value by this function, right? If we want to see changes, any value changes, so that time we are using this val changes function, right?
Yes.
How it see, we can see this value changes into the console section, because
Yes.
this console sections we already created before
Yes.
to see the value. But basically thing is, when we are using when we put the value, so that time we can use the value for this particular syntax, and when we want to get the value, so that time we can use the value change. That means change. Okay, so basically everything prefix name is same, but we are using the event name is change. So if I using this name change, so if our input property in the component section, we have input property uh, as val and output property as val change, then we can use it two-way data binding directly with that variable name.
Okay.
Because here have syntax, uh, we are not using this documented syntax.
Okay.
Did we use this documented syntax in our code?
No.
But it's working same way which we have required.
Okay.
Because if I use this code, uh, except this, same things we can see.
Okay.
If I just copy this code, accept this code, just I create another counter component, just I copy this counter object, and just I paste another counter object. Counter.ts. Okay, and now here I just paste it without creating any uh, extra efforts. I am not using any extra efforts here. Just I copy and paste it, and app counter 2, I just naming it like this. So if I using this, okay, so I just simply comment out it, and once I comment out it, then we need to see here value already changed, 36. But if I seen it, so by default value is 30, because in the home section, home component section, default value was 30. Okay,
Yeah.
if we put it as 0, so then we can see this value as 0. So now I want to use app counter, except this we want to use the app counter 2. App counter counter 2 is another object which is need to be import first in this component. So basically we need to use the another counter, here another counter. What happening? Okay, here another counter. Actually we did not give the name another counter component, so for that particular purpose we are not getting the property. So another counter, and not need to required component, just I naming it as counter. So now I just use it as counter. This another counter can do same thing. What happened? Okay, basically we go to see count. Okay, so we need to see here count object, count variable. So this is the count and count change. So now we can see the count and count value. Okay, so this is the count change and count value we can see. Okay, hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So this is the count object, and now this time I use another component like this, and Okay, so now here we can see the value changes here with this uh, two variable, and also we can monitor that value with this component. Okay,
Yes.
so now if we want to binding in single object, so just we need to bind this value this way directly, then we don't require to use this value. Actually if we want to use, so it's okay, but basically now we can change the value directly here to here also.
Okay, understood.
So this is the two-way data binding. Okay, so we
Okay.
have two processes to apply our codes in the Angular two-way. It was the older versions, it is the supported in older versions, but it's still working, and
Okay.
it is the newer versions for coding,
Okay.
and it is uh, same things. So
Okay.
basically same things, but we have two to do same things. I don't
Okay.
know you understood it or not.
I somewhat understood. I need to do it and see.
Actually, you need to practice first. Without practice, you cannot understood it properly. So this is the
Okay.
basically things which is the mostly required two-way data binding, because it is actually most important parts in the Angular, or
Okay.
not only Angular. It is front-end framework also working with these concepts
Okay.
mostly. Okay. After that,
Okay.
we need control flow. Control flow means conditional part. Basically, here is the if else conditions. So if we want to record some conditional generation or conditional output, then we can use at the rate if, and it is the actually template part. Okay, so basically what I can do it here. So basically I just copy this code directly and put this code in the home page section, and I wanted to see something here, like this is the syntax, and now here counter value if greater than 10, basically if it is greater than 10 then it will be visible. So basically means is I want to see this value greater than 10, just simply like that.
Okay.
COUNTR counter, just simple like that. So if it is greater than 10, then we can see the value. So basically if it is 10, then we can see it. If it is not greater, then we cannot see this component. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the conditional rendering, and this conditional rendering comes with this syntax, this control flow syntax, and this particular syntax working on the template section, basically a stable part. It is working on template section, but for this particular syntax we did not require any imports into our uh, this documentation section, this class section. Basically it is by default working in the template parts in the Angular section,
Okay.
but before have some another way, but this time it is not required. And here also some another condition, and it is also for loop. If we want to using any conditional loop rendering, then we can use this particular syntaxes, but this particular syntax comes from if we have multiple array of data here, and after that that particular data comes with the a single element, and that element have to print like this. But when loops coming into the template section, this particular things is required, because without track, without this particular syntax, your for loop does not be working in the Angular section. Basically, sometimes you may forgot in this particular track part, then you may get some issues when you want to render your application into the page. So this is the actually problem which is actually required to solve.
Okay.
Okay, so here actually describe the things why track in for required. Okay, so this is this process where you can see the understanding why this syntax is required. Also have some another things: count, index, first, last, even, odd. So many things already here, and this everything is actually contextual variable or global variable, which is are pre-implemented by the Angular framework. Okay, so this is the predefined things. Also, empty is the another annotations decorator function or annotations things. These annotations are using for template. If we don't have any data, then we can see this particular output. We can also use some switch case options like this way. So this is the thing. So these everything's actually are template control flow, and after that we need to use something pipes, and it is also important if we are actually we talk about pipes next class.
Okay.
Basically today I also talk about so many things, and pipe is the some different kind of things where we can change the real time value
Okay.
with the user inputs, like we can change the currency value, we can change the time zone value real time. So that time we can use some pipes, and this pipes is very helpful for real time data changes.
Okay.
And this is have something. So if you wanted to learn something, so you can learn it
Okay.
from the documentation side,
Okay.
because today I did not cover so many things, because if I covered so many things, maybe you could not understand properly,
Yeah. Sure.
because today I discuss about two different way which is are documented here in this section, and another I told you which I have some experience before. So I
Okay.
also talk about in this topic. So both of the
Okay.
things are equally important. So
Okay.
you must we understand that things, and then
Okay.
here have so many other concepts are also here. But most of the thing is once you working with the Angular, I don't know what you are understand how to understand the Angular part, because I am not getting your proper feedback. You just
Okay.
say yes, I can understand. Yes, but it is a real time class, live class. So I wanted to see some your practices also.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. I will share.
Okay. Okay. So next Thursday we will meet.
Okay. Sure.
Now I send you the recording sessions and project folder also.